Happy Groundhog Day. We are doing a hop this year again, which is so fantastic. The Groundhog Day hop, it was organized by Jackie from JQ Crafty, and I think this is the third year, maybe the third or fourth year that it has been running. Essentially what the concept is just like Groundhog Day, the movie. It's a repeat every year. So you start by picking a layout that you've created that you want to scrap lift. Or I think some people might have started like a novel layout, so kind of starting from scratch and just created something for the first year. And then every year you take that layout and you scrap lift yourself. So you go ahead and kind of scrap lift your first one, and then the next year you're going to scrap lift your second one, and then the third year you're going to scrap lift your second layout, and you just keep going, kind of like the telephone game or something along those lines, the pass it on game, that kind of thing. And you're just scrap lifting your own layouts that you create each year for Groundhog Day. So the idea of that repeating layout that you originally chose, and working with the concept of the movie where it's kind of that repeat every year, except as we all know in the scrapbooking world, you can never repeat a layout exactly the same way. So that is the fun of it. It kind of, keeps growing and developing and changing year by year. So you guys are all welcome to play along as well. Grab a layout that you might want to scrap lift for yourself. And like one of your own personal layouts. You could probably start, I guess, if you wanted, with somebody else's layout too, and just see how it keeps changing year by year. But it's kind of fun to scrap lift yourself. So pick a layout that you really loved, or maybe pick a layout that as you were creating it, you were, coming up with different ideas on how you could do it again. However you want to choose that layout, and then every year for the second, scrap lift the layout and see what happens. I always plan to play, and I have created layouts for this hop basically since the first year, and I don't know why, but I've never posted them. Something always seems to come up. The end of January always ends up being more of a hustle than I anticipated, whatever it might be. And so this is actually my first time posting one of my layouts and kind of my starting point. But there are lots of people who have been playing since the very beginning. So definitely go down and check out the playlist, and you will see all of the videos, and then you can kind of watch their progression from year to year. I decided I just really needed to make this a priority because I think it's such a fun concept, and it's just something really unique and something that you can kind of look back on. And every year, not only do you get to see the progression of that specific layout, but also in a way, your own progression as a scrapbooker and what your style is in that moment, because you aren't going to be able to help but make it kind of authentically you in that moment. And so I think that that's a really fun kind of snapshot from year to year of how you are as a scrapbooker and where you're at in your scrapbooking journey. So I think it's really fun. Definitely play along. Please go check out that playlist. I picked a layout that I want to scrap lift. It's going to be my base layout that I'm going to work with every year. And it's the one with all those hearts. I really enjoy it. I think it's a really open concept kind of layout. I don't have to kind of bottleneck myself into just Valentine's layouts, but it is February, and so I'm always sort of feeling kind of inspired to use those colors and hearts and things like that, and so it definitely kind of inspires that. But as you can see with this layout, I'm going to be doing a birthday theme, and so I think that the layout is open enough to be able to interpret it in many different ways. So that is one of the reasons I picked it. And I just like the white space, and I like that it's a simple enough design that I can go ahead and put my interpretation on it every year. I don't think I'll get bored with it because there is a lot of opportunity and a lot of flexibility with it. So I kind of chose the layout I wanted to scrap lift pretty strategically that way. I think it translates well from year to year. And then I'm also going to pair it with February's sketch. So every month this year, I am releasing a sketch. So I shared with you my February sketch at the beginning of the video. It's also on my Instagram page now. So if you wanted to get a better look at it, you can definitely head over there and check it out. I'm also going to do a draw quarterly. So after March's sketch, I will go and look through all of the social media places where people can tag me. If you've used my sketch and you want to go ahead and tag me, I will share it on Instagram and give you a shout out, but also your name will go into a draw for a little prize. So please go ahead, tag me. If you want to use it, you don't have to tag me by all means. You don't have to give me credit or anything like that. I'm sharing the sketches just to give you guys some inspiration and because I really enjoy creating them. But if you do want to go ahead and tag me so that you can get a bit of a shout out or be entered into the draw, please go ahead and do that. Or you can just DM me the layout if you don't like to share them publicly, or even just send me a message saying you did it. Leave it in the comments of this video. However you want to let me know that you have created with my sketch, and I will throw your name into the hat for the draw. This layout is also for the Wild Whisper design team, so you'll be able to see more information about the papers and the collection and some close-up shots on the blog if you want to go and check that out. And you can find links for the store and the Facebook group and all that kind of fun stuff down below, as well as my discount code, DTGen, so you can save 10% off of your purchase. The Happy Birthday collection that I'm using, as well as Cozy Nights and the Wild Holiday Home, collection. Those are the 3 brand new ones that have just come out. They are all in the store now. So definitely run to the shop, use my discount code, save some money, scoop up some new goodies. I love this collection. The colors are just so pretty and so bright and really, really fun. And so I thought it would be a fun idea to go ahead and create a birthday layout. I feel like even though I picked a Valentine's sketch, the sketch is kind of Valentine's-y. I did that intentionally, but the layout that I'm scrap lifting of myself is also Valentine's-y. And even though I sort of intentionally picked that to open up the possibility of doing Valentine's layouts on Groundhog Day because it's February, I didn't want to do that this time because I really wanted to use this Happy Birthday collection. And so I think that's where the flexibility really comes in, that just the general design of the layout works for any kind of theme. So I'm going to take the idea of the hearts, and instead of using hearts, I'm going to use the birthday presents or the packages that are in that paper. So that will kind of be my little C that's going across. I do have my layout cut to 8.5 by 11 because my 2022 album is all 8.5 by 11. And that's when this picture is from. So it kind of added another layer of novelty to this because I'm now taking a sketch and I'm taking a layout that's already been created and I am shrinking them down into that 8.5 by 11 size. And that's why I decided, rather than doing paper strips as the vertical and horizontal kind of element, oops, I just hit my microphone, sorry. Instead of doing paper strips as those elements, I decided to paint them on because I didn't really want to cut up a bunch of the papers with just one little tiny strip and then kind of leave myself with a bunch of just slightly smaller than 12 by 12 papers. Because it's brand new, this is my first layout with them, I'm being just a little bit stingy with those papers, and I want to make sure that I can do a bunch of layouts with them, specifically the rest of the pictures for this particular birthday. So I definitely kind of had that in the back of my mind. Also, sort of squishing this down into that 8.5 by 11 size, I didn't want to lose the white space. That's one thing I really like about that layout, is that there is lots of white space, and I didn't want to lose that by starting to add a ton of patterns and starting to really kind of clog it up and make it look really busy. So I felt like just doing the strips of the distress inks, distress oxides, and one ink actually, it's giving me those verticals, it's giving me those that horizontal feel, but it's a solid color, and so it doesn't read as super, super busy. It also, I think, allows these packages to stand out a bit more because they are a little bit smaller, but they're not all solid colors. You see the different patterns from the collection in several of the packages, and so I thought that maybe it would compete too much if I had strips that were pattern papers and then also these packages that are pattern papers. In that original layout, the hearts are solid colors and the pattern paper is in the torn kind of where I backed the torn edges at the top and at the bottom. And so this is almost the reverse of that, where the strips are more of the solid color and the patterns are in the actual packages themselves. So I was sort of paying attention to that kind of thing because I feel like with this 8.5 by 11 size, I can very quickly just make it look super congested and too busy and try to stick too many elements on it. And so I'm working at making sure that I don't do that, because at the end of the day, I still just really want my picture to stand out and have everything around it kind of complement it and not compete with it. So I don't always show that thought process in video form because it's hard to video me just kind of thinking about things and planning it. But I always want to try to describe that to you to let you know that there was some kind of intentional thought progression happening about why I'm choosing to put patterns in certain places or use paint instead of paper or that kind of thing. So yes, hopefully I explained that well enough. I really like the colors. I tried to pick colors that complemented the collection and they just happened to work really well. The Distress Oxides have sort of an opaque feel to them, like a chalky feel to them. And so often they show up really nice and bright. And so what you see on the actual like cover of the stamp or the ink pad is kind of the color that you're going for. My yellow isn't quite a match. I think I could have probably gotten away with, is it called lemon yellow? I think I could have probably used the lemon yellow, but I didn't. I stuck with that fossilized amber and I just kind of splattered that through the page because I feel like the yellow in the packages stands out really nicely. And I used some yellow in this little happy birthday banner that I fussy cut. And so I splattered that yellow. I think between the two greens that I used, I kind of hit that minty green that's in the collection. I'm tricking your eye by using the two different greens to make it feel like they're more of a blend of the actual color rather than two colors that just don't quite match. And I did the same thing with the kind of pinky coral color too. I knew it wasn't an exact match. The, what is that one called? Abandoned Coral. That one is an ink rather than the oxide. And it's not quite as intense. It's not an exact match, but I paired it with the pink to kind of trick your eye into thinking that it was a better match than what it actually is. So little tip, little trick that I've picked up that, you know, if you kind of blend things, then you can get away with things not quite matching as well. And then I also have that navy blue or stormy skies, stormy sea, because that is what the complementary color or that like highlight color is in the collection, is a navy blue. So that's what I used to stamp the happy birthday and kind of have that cascading effect that you see in the sketch. Rather than having the little hearts or anything like that, I decided to do stamping all the way down the page. And then I just kind of did my little layers. So I have that top cluster in the same area where it kind of is in the sketch. And then I have all of those presents down below and the title kind of where they are in the layout that I scrap lifted. And then I also decided I wanted to add some sequins. So those are Spiegel Mom Scrap sequins. They're so pretty. They happen to match this collection really, really well. That is the Just So Good mix. So brand new mix that has come out, and I just love how well it matches. The pink is a little bit more pinky and a like really bright pop, but it works really, really well, as you can see. Then I did my little dashed lines around the edge to represent what is in the sketch, and that's it. That is my layout. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please check out the links down below and the playlist, and stay tuned for Thursday, where I'm actually going to show you what I'm going to do on the backside with those flaps that I created in my Wild Whisper Live. So until then, happy scrapping. Bye.